Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to In the Spotlight with Jill Nicolini on Business Talk Radio, where we take your business to the next level. Welcome back to Business Talk Radio. We are joined by Andrew Aaron, LICSW. Yeah, he's here to talk to us today as a marriage counselor, sex therapist, psychotherapist, you name it. And he owns the company Help for Passion and the website helpforpassion.com. In all matters intimacy and passion, he is the man you need to talk to. Welcome back to the show today.
Hi, Jill. A great opportunity to maybe help some people feel better today.
No, wonderful. Well, you always do that. And, when we start the show, you do need to identify yourself, new listeners all the time. Please, let's establish who you are for our listeners, and then we'll get into some great conversation, I'm sure.
Okay, I am Andrew Aaron, LICSW, and that stands for Licensed Independent Clinical Social Worker. And I specialize in helping people love more deeply, love themselves, love others, love life more deeply, and live more passionately. And I can be found at my website, helpforpassion.com. That's help, F-O-R, passion.com.
Great. And each and every week, you always surprise us with a great topic of conversation. Is there any area of focus today that we should be diving into right now for our listeners? And obviously, they can reach out if they have questions, 631-627-1840. What is a topic of convo for the day?
Yeah, I was thinking of diving into the very intense topic of infidelity. It's something that both is enticing, is exciting, is covert, is sinful, but also sinfully delicious, and at the same time, it hurts other people in a devastating fashion.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you deal with this one a lot. I know a lot of people dealing with this problem and this, I don't even know what you call it, but it's harmful, it's hurtful, it's so good at times. There's so many different emotions. So let's get started. Why would you say somebody is or becomes unfaithful?
Well, from my perspective, one of the biggest causes is relationship dissatisfaction. That when partners are experiencing disconnection, poor communication, areas within the relationship that are dissatisfying, and one of the large areas is, well, not just emotional disconnection, but also a dissatisfying sex life. That makes partners vulnerable and vulnerable to the attention of others. Other areas or causes, I think, are if we're struggling inside ourselves to feel good and to feel good about ourselves, then when somebody else shows us attention, it can be so enticing to receive from another validation, to receive from another loving attention that confirms that we have value. When we struggle inside, our need for being propped up to get an emotional boost is very strong, and therefore it can override our ability or the need to say no. Also, if we're struggling inside to feel good about ourselves, to feel proud, we then will have an increased preference for feeling good. And there's little that feels better than when we are passionately connecting with others, when we find a mutual attraction, because that is a kind of excitement that is beyond the pleasure that comes from most other thrilling experiences.
Got it.
As I've said before, love is the most powerful drug there is.
Wow.
And on some level, I think we all want to feel the ecstasy, and we also, deep inside, believe that we deserve to feel the ecstasy of love. Okay, Joe?
No. So a lot of times it's good to hear this, that something's actually, I'm going to use the term wrong. Maybe that's not the right terminology, but there's something wrong with you on the inside, in a sense. You're not happy. You're not feeling fulfilled. You're not in your right frame of mind, in a sense. So you find a lot of times when it comes to infidelity that, one of the partners is not well inside in a sense. So it's about fixing yourself, but that's hard to make your partner understand that. They're not going to be happy to find out that you were unfaithful and you did what you did, even though you have deep underlying root issues that need to be corrected. So you work with couples who go through infidelity and you also work with them one-on-one as well?
Oh, absolutely. And when I work with a new couple, a standard operating procedure, I meet with each partner or spouse once alone, and then sometimes we move forward as a couple. Sometimes it's an imbalanced approach where one spouse gets the most of the attention to work on specific issues, and then we intermittently work as a couple. How I plan the treatment will depend on the unique situation of the couple.
All right, got it. Thank you. So, and you can work with both of them, and you can work individually, which is important to do. Great.
Yeah, in some situations, I work with each partner individually, while we also do couples therapy. And what I do is maintain a very, very high level of emotional safety and confidentiality, so that each spouse feels like they can be themselves without feeling threatened, or even without some of the issues that are important to them being disclosed to the other. I will maintain secrets, and that's a part of maintaining confidentiality and emotional safety in that kind of situation. But Jill, you mentioned something that's really important, and that is each of us is made up of many layers, and while an unfaithful partner may point to more external layers, such as, relationship dissatisfaction, deep down, there's almost always some inner struggle at feeling good about him or herself that caused the unfaithful partner to say, I am not going to be the best friend to myself. I am not going to fulfill my obligation to protect my partner from being hurt. I am choosing to violate my ethics, my morals, my values, and do something that is deceitful, that is a hurtful thing. And so that always goes into self-esteem. What kind of friend am I being to myself? Am I behaving as the person about whom I am proud? Something I say frequently in these situations is, it's never wrong to love another, but rarely is it right to hurt another. And our highest priority is to be a non-hurtful person, right? And when it comes to unfaithfulness, oftentimes the result is devastation and tremendous, tremendous harm.
Can someone overcome that if their partner's unfaithful? Have you really worked with couples that can get through this, or do you find it more difficult than not, in a sense? How does it work? I mean, you're an expert in this field, so I'll let you, take the stage here. But I just heard, there's so many statistics out there about, people who cheat, people who are unfaithful, and relationship working in the future are slim. Is that true?
Well, actually, it's surprising. It would seem objectively that should be true, but the reality is that of relationships that are damaged by infidelity, a significant majority succeed at overcoming it and move on to still have a satisfying relationship.
Wow.
I think roughly 80 to 85% of couples succeed at staying together and healing the relationship. The statistic seems to be that if it was the female partner who cheated, those couples are less likely to be successful than if the male partner cheated. But still, most couples succeed at making it.
Why is that?
But the road.
We have a call coming in. Stand by. We'll finish that in 1 second.
Okay.
Welcome to Business Talk Radio. You're live on the line with Andrew Aaron. Who's this?
My name is Nick Johnson. How are you today?
Good. Hey, Nick.
Hello, Nick.
Hey, how you doing? I was listening. I've been listening. I got a question for you. My spouse always, tends to throw like mood swings around without really explaining, where they're coming from. I was just wondering, how can I work on on communicating, getting through with some communication in that area.
Okay, that's kind of an interesting question. What does it look like to you? How does she appear? What do the mood swings look like to you?
I'd say they're extreme, from one extreme to the other, from depression to excitement. But I mean, it's sort of like isolated, like she's, keeps it to herself for one reason or another. I can't get to the bottom of it.
How often do you see these sudden mood changes?
Well, relatively often, in the course of a week, maybe, 3 or 4 times.
Okay, and has something happened in the moment where her mood might change, or does it come out of the blue?
No, I think it comes out of the blue. It's increased as, with the tension with the COVID has increased it, but I don't think that's the root cause.
Okay.
And I try to get to the bottom of it, by communicating with her what's going on in there. And, she's just very elusive, she's just, nothing. Yeah. So,
okay, she might not be aware of what's going on. She might not be as aware of the underlying feelings. Sometimes there is a personality problem. There is, some emotional challenges that may be more deeply rooted, but a majority of people who suddenly have mood swings, they have a lot of internalized pain or anger, and they keep it buried. And then when a life situation, an event occurs that impacts them a little more deeply, then that emotion that's buried under the surface is accessed, and it springs out. It can be sudden and even explosive, and it suddenly alters their mood. But Nick, once she shifts in her emotions, does she stay upset or in that altered mood for a long time?
No, not really. That's why it's, so confusing. And I'm trying to get, at the bottom of it, like, what's going on? Let me in. And I don't get anywhere with that.
Yeah, it sounds really frustrating for you.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's the most often mood change that you witness? From what to what?
Well, actually from just pretty much normal into like a minor depression.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds to me like she might be holding a lot of anger inside. Some people have just a habit of what we call internalizing anger. When she's frustrated, when she experiences irritation, annoyance, she buries it inside, and it accumulates over time and can be a powerful force, right? So having a discussion with her, maybe not when she's been triggered into the shift in moods, have a discussion with her generally about the things she finds frustrating, annoying. What are some factors in your life that are dissatisfying for her? And learn a little bit about those. It's possible that just, if she's willing to share that with you, just sharing it and opening up may actually help to drain away a little bit of the internalized anger that she has inside, and may help to reduce the degree to which the mood swings are extreme or the frequency of them. Mm-hmm. Could you have that kind of discussion with her, Nick?
I think so. Yes. Yeah, I've been trying to, but it's difficult because she's I guess a private person. I guess she likes to keep, like you said, she internalizes this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like
so I'll try that. I'll try getting at her. From a point of view where she's not in the middle of one of them. Because that's where I would approach her to talk. Well, what's going on? But I mean, I think you're right. Like on an even keel, we'll try from there and see what happens.
Do you think, in general, she's satisfied in your relationship?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Because there's a whole nother dynamic for those folks who are, struggling with satisfaction in their relationship, in which there's some powerful mood swings as well. But also, if she chose to seek out a therapist, someone with whom she could open up completely and start regular sharing, that might also help significantly too.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, Nick?
No, I think that answers the question. I'm going to try this, but thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Great question. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
And
Bye.
great. And I just want to bring up one thing before the caller came in. We were talking about the infidelity, and you were just my question was about how you said chances are less likely for the couple, the relationship, to survive if it was the female that cheated. Could you how or usually why you see that happening?
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain, but through the years of talking to hundreds of couples about this, the answer to that, I suspect, is somewhat about expectations, but it's also about the structure of our personalities. I think generally in our society, and it's not fair or equal, but there is the expectations that males who tend to have a higher sex drive and are looked upon differently in terms of gender roles and history, there's a greater expectation that a male will be unfaithful than a female partner. That's not necessarily right or fair, but it seems to exist. Another factor is that men, in the structure of their personalities, there is a greater fragility. They're more fragile deep down, and to the experience of rejection or abandonment, I think there's greater sensitivity, but also in men's personalities and personality structure. Men, it's very important that we feel respected, that we feel powerful, and we feel strong. And when our female partner has been unfaithful, that demonstrates a tremendous disrespect and shows that the male partner in some way failed in his obligation to satisfy the female partner, and that becomes a point at which a lot of men, they have a hard time coping with it. And so as a result, they will no longer try in the relationship for the repair.
Got it. Women seem to be a little
very
more
interesting,
forgiving, a little
interesting
more.
factors.
Yeah, we have a call coming in. Stand by. Welcome to Business Talk Radio. Who's this?
Hi, this is Tracy.
Hi, Tracy. Say hello to Andrew.
Hi.
Hi, Tracy. How can I help you today?
Hi. Would you say you deal more on the communication or the physical aspect of a relationship more when helping your clients?
Probably more of the communication. That's an interesting question because our relationships are made up of the emotional, of course, the verbal and the physical. Our relationships, I would say, are very holistic. All these elements are needed to make a complete and satisfying relationship. However, the physical is more intimate than the verbal. So more couples are likely to first have trouble with the verbal and struggle with connection. And as a result, more of my couples come to me seeking help to communicate more effectively, right? Is that something, Tracy, that is a challenge in a relationship in which you're a part?
Yes, it is.
Okay, what exactly is going on?
Well, we just have, mostly we have trouble in communicating with each other.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry to hear that. That can be frustrating and sometimes dissatisfying. What's that like for you?
Yeah, that's about right. It's hard, though, but we're trying to work through it.
Okay. I'm actually creating an online course just for that issue, and it's called We Just Can't Communicate. And I'm currently in the process of making it, but it's available for pre-order through my website. Now, Tracy, when two people cannot communicate, what is happening is that the pain both partners are experiencing, because relationships are challenging, and the sad reality is there's no love without pain. So partners deal with adversity and pain, and when partners do not feel fully understood in the struggle and the pain they feel, then that creates a kind of wall or obstacle that prevents connection, prevents good dialogue and prevents safe communication from breaking down or escalating into intensity. What happens when you and your partner try to talk?
Well, basically, he just shuts down. He doesn't really communicate that much, his feelings.
Okay. And that's a really tough situation, and that can maybe cause you to feel a little powerless in that moment to maybe fix a problem or gain an understanding. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So odds are what's happening is that your partner shuts down to avoid feeling more pain or avoid having an argument or an escalated conflict, right?
Yes.
So you might try saying to your partner, I'm not going to react. I just want to listen to you. I'm not going to say anything. I just want to hear what's going on for you. And understand. And if you demonstrate that, you're just going to repeat it back to show your partner that you got it. Maybe they would be willing to share a little more and open up instead of shutting down.
Okay.
Is that something you might be willing to try?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, because if you two are able to break down the troubles into taking turns where you each have an opportunity to express your pain, your frustration, your needs, your feelings, then you can start to have more power to communicate and control the dialogue so it doesn't become hurtful or escalated or further upsetting, okay?
Okay. All right, thank you.
That's a very, very good question, very important one, and I appreciate the question because I think that's an important thing that all the listeners need to understand about how to take their love relationships from a difficult moment of being unable to communicate to something better. So thank you, Tracy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the call.
Bye.
All right, and Andrea, we're skipping our commercial break today. Don't worry about it. So we still have 5 minutes left in the show, and you're just full of insight and information. So I honestly forgot what we were talking about before the call came in. I know it was about infidelity, so would you mind continuing the conversation?
Sure. And Jill, I really appreciate your willingness to skip the commercials for those callers. That was great.
Nope.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about when a male partner is betrayed versus a female partner and the likelihood for the relationship to survive that crisis. And unfortunately, infidelity happens too often because of the devastating effects of it on the partner especially. And yet, for many couples, the revelation that betrayal has occurred can create a crisis, and a crisis has a benefit. Even though we wish it would never happen, the benefit is there's an opportunity in a crisis that when devastation has occurred, now partners are willing to make the kind of changes that if the crisis hadn't occurred, they wouldn't have been willing to alter their behaviors and patterns. So a lot of couples take that opportunity for tremendous devastation to reevaluate, reassess, tear down the emotional walls that have plagued the relationship, and now with openness, reconnect in a new and improved way. We still wish the infidelity never occurred, but a lot of couples take that opportunity to now move forward in growth and repair in a way that can be deeply, deeply satisfying. So it's an opportunity to take lemons and make lemonade, right? And it's a tremendous opportunity. However, it's really important that romantic partners fulfill their highest obligation, and that is to be a non-hurtful person, to protect their romantic partner, their loved one, their committed partner from being hurt. And instead, it would be superior to engage in a discussion about what I really need, what's the source of frustration and dissatisfaction for me, instead of causing tremendous hurt and even trauma.
Great. Well, thank you.
Right, Jill?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And it's such a topic that it happens all the time, and you hear of so many people who are unfaithful and what they deal with and what they go through. It's part of life, and it's good to know there's people in your shoes who've been there, who've done that, and there's other people out there who can help you, because you're not alone. And I think that helps.
Well,
we all have our own.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And at this time, can I get your best form of contact information, please?
Yes. I can be of help to many people just by visiting my website, and that is helpforpassion.com. That's help, F-O-R, passion.com.
Great. And Andrew Aaron, once again, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, as always, here on Business Talk Radio. Great conversation. Once again, you always come through. I enjoy really our conversations and all the insights that you do bring to relationships, to sex, to individual therapy in general. So we do appreciate it, okay? Looking forward to our next conversation. Thank you. You have a great weekend, okay? And everyone else, stay tuned. More Business Talk Radio is on the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to In the Spotlight with Jill Nicolini.
Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed... 680 to 90, 10-4. Could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.